What's up, everybody? Welcome to Last Men Standing. This is episode 5 of season 2 of the Circa Survivor podcast. We have a very special guest, LoveMyBaxter, as he's known in the Circa Survivor community. LoveMyBaxter was a Circa Survivor champion with not one, but 2 entries the first year Circa Survivor existed in 2020. So can't wait to pick his brain. He's also a very sharp guy when it comes to NFL betting and betting in general. He's also a great shit talker. So I hope we get a little bit of that today too. And he's also the only other person other than myself that I have seen on Twitter who is also in Circa Survivor and begging beat writers for information right before the deadline to submit your Circa Survivor picks. I saw you doing that a couple times last year too. Like, hey, is this starting guard for the Browns expected to play, Mr. Beat Writer? I got to put my pick in an hour. I've been there too, brother. I love your intensity. I love how seriously you take it. First of all, how are you doing with the season quickly approaching, my friend?
Shit, I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I'm going to Vegas in a week and a half to enter in super contests, gold, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Westgate regular, and the Westgate Survivor.
Nice. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
And I do daily, I do DFS, DraftKings. Okay. I bet on games once in a while. I do props. I do a little bit of everything, man. I got my money, and I got some percentages in the Grandissimo with a few people also. So I got my money spread out, man.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me recap this. 1 Westgate $5,000 Survivor. You got a piece of Grandissimo, and then did you say how many Circa Survivors? 2. Wait. A piece of 2 Grandissimos. Okay.
Piece of 2 Grandissimos.
Wow. Okay. And then how many Circa
5,
Survivor?
I'm gonna do 5. I usually do 10, and I usually have my wife sign up. I have my dog, and I have a bunch of other pets sign up in their name, so I can maximize it. I'm not doing that this year.
I got you. Okay. Interesting that you say that. So you actually decreased your number of Circa Survivor entries so that you could put more of your budget into Grandissimo. And I've heard that. I've heard people saying that. And I actually hypothesized that because of Grandissimo's existence, the regular Circa Survivor pool might be less sharp. And some people push back and were like, I don't know. It might be more sharp because people that are sharp with a lot of money are coming in to do Grandissimo, and they might decide to sprinkle on the regular one. You got to take on that. How is the existence of Grandissimo and even the Westgate $5,000 contest, do you think going to impact the sharpness of the regular Circa Survivor pool?
No, I think everybody's going to be in every contest if they got the money. And regardless, I don't know, like when we shit talk last year in the chat, I had more entries than all you guys, and we were going at it back and forth. But at the end of the day, having that many, it's an overkill. And I don't know if you remember our text messages going back. Like I had 30 to start off this contest, and I would put all 30 every week. And then if I got further, I would kind of wait to sprinkle less on the teams. But at the end of the day, I hear these people saying that, well, I'm going to put 5 on this team, 3 on that team, 1 on this team. If you do that every week, you're going to get cut down and you're going to get taken out, and you're going to come from 20 to have 5, and it doesn't matter. My philosophy is if you get out early or you get out late, stress-free if you get out early, because you already know as you go longer in this contest, as you can see, man, I lost a lot of hair over the few years. So I start off with a little patch of hair like you, but as you go on, man, it's a lot of stress. So if it's not meant to be, and I'm on the best team, and the best team loses, then it is what it is. But to get back to your original question, sharp-wise, I think all the heavy hitters will be in the regular, and if you got a big bankroll, then you're going to be in Grandissimo, and I think a lot of the poker dudes are coming for the Grandissimo, buying a big part of it, and then selling off shares. And on that one, I don't have a say-so. And on the other one, the guy's willing to listen to my expertise and what I got to say. But at the end of the day, he's going to make the pick. And I knew going into it, it is what it is. I'm like an investor.
Gotcha. Very good, man. So you won this thing in 2020. Walk us through the last couple games before you won. Were there some significant sweats? Was it an easy path the last couple games? Walk us through that.
Well, I'm going to walk you through all of it just about. I went in with 3. I went all 3 all the way through until week 10 or week 11. I put 1 on one team, I had 2 on the other. The one I had on one team was Eagles. They lost against the Giants. And then I continued doing the 2 every week. So out of the three entries I did all of them except for 1 week, and I got picked off one, and I kept on doing the 2 all the way through. And there was some close calls. I don't remember what weeks, but I had an overtime game. I think it was Minnesota at Jacksonville the first week. And then the last week, I went nightcap, Philly, Washington, and I found out that Philly was going to not play nobody, so I picked Washington. But me being a Niner fan, Alex Smith was quarterback in Washington. I can't stand Alex Smith. Can I cuss on here or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Alex Smith, I can't stand that dude, the way he plays. He doesn't take chances. He takes sacks. He only throws the ball 5 yards downfield, captain check down. So anyway, long story short, I won the contest the last week, but there was close calls. I don't remember exactly the weeks, and I dodged a bullet because that was the year that the Jets were getting 17 from the Rams, and the Jets beat the Rams. I don't know if you remember that. I used the Rams earlier in the year, so I didn't have to use the Rams that year. But no matter how good you are in football, you got to have some luck on your side to go all the way through and win this contest. Whoever says they don't, they're full of shit.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to poker, right? You can make a great call at a poker table and just somebody hits a 2-outer on the river or something like that, and luck happens and it knocks you out. So I think it's a blend of skill and luck, and it's maybe debatable. Is it 60-40? Is it 50-50? Is it 80-20? Is it 90-10? What's your take on that on a pie chart? What percentage of this is skill? What percentage of this is luck?
I can go 50-50 or maybe 60-40.
Yeah.
But I do know a lot of ball. I know the rosters. I know the depth charts. I know the coaching. I know the coordinators. I got all that shit memorized before week 1, and I just dig deep into this contest. There's no spreads, so of course it's a little easier than picking 5 games a week. Picking 5 games a week, wow, you need a lot. You need a lot of luck. I know Tony was on yesterday, Durberfly, good dude, but he got off that 1 year, and he's cashed on numerous years. But then you can have a bad year. So to maintain winning 5 games a week in a contest, man, I don't care who you are. You're gonna have good weeks, good years, bad years. It just football, man. A lot of variance is going on with football, NFL.
Yeah, and then crazy stuff happens. I remember I lost an entry or 2 on the 49ers last year when their kicker got hurt in the first half and the Cardinals came back. I've lost entries because my starting quarterback gets hurt, early in the game. Stuff happens. Even if you handicap it right, luck and crazy things happen. I want to ask you about the difference between, and I know you don't have final say in Grandissimo, but there is a very different strategy, right, between Grandissimo and the regular Circa Survivor because of the size of the pool. So can you talk to me about kind of the mindset going into a bigger pool versus going into a smaller pool and what the differences are for you strategy-wise?
Definitely, I would save the Christmas teams, Thanksgiving teams, regardless of the size. Last thing you want to do, go far in Grandissimo, thinking it's not going to go far, and then all of a sudden you're at Thanksgiving and you're like, man, I wish I would have had Philly. Man, I wish I would have had Detroit. So I would say try to save those options and let these other people try to do the dumb move and using those teams up thinking it's not going to go the distance. To cover your ass, I would get those teams and save them, man. I would not use them up. These guys are already talking on a chat that they're talking about using Eagles week 1. And you know me, I'm vocal. And even though it's texting right now and we haven't done our little meeting yet that we're going to do once a week, but those dudes that said, yeah, let's take Philly, I'm going to tell them straight up. Have you looked at the season? Have you picked off every week what these teams, who they're playing with? Why would you use Philly right now when they're playing the weakest team on Thanksgiving? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So let me push back on that because I see what you're saying. If I had one entry, I think Philly would be the dumbest mistake that you could make because of the reasons that you said. They play Chicago on Thanksgiving. And at this point, it looks like the best game on a very tricky Thanksgiving schedule, which, by the way, is intimately connected to the Christmas schedule because we've got some teams like the Chiefs who are on both, right? So very difficult holiday slate. So I get it. But if you've got 10, 20, 30 entries, I don't fault someone for putting an entry or two on Philly. I think that can make sense, and it can protect yourself potentially against what might be a carnage-filled Sunday. And before I get your reaction to that, I want to clarify something, because there's probably people watching this show that aren't that familiar with Circa Survivor. What do you mean 30 entries? There's a maximum of 10. Circa sets a maximum of 10. A lot of people have partners, etc., where, my wife will get 10, I'll have 10, that sort of thing. But it is against the rules to have more than 10. So I wanted to clarify that for people. But what do you think of that? If someone out there, if a group out there has 50 picks or has 100 picks, sprinkling 1 or 2 on the Eagles, do you think it's still a bad move in that case?
I want to do it regardless how many entries I got. I'm going to put all my eggs in probably one team that week. Right now, I can tell you it's Denver. Denver at home, altitude, same head coach, same offense coordinator, same defense coordinator, same coach. I think I said same coach, my bad. Same quarterback, same offensive guys. Upgraded on defense. You're a Niner fan. I'm a Niner fan. They got Greenlaw, and they got the Samoan safety. Yep. I don't want to butcher his name. Samoan safety, Ulafunga. Denver is a team to watch out for, and they're playing Tennessee with a rookie quarterback going into Mile High week 1. That's going to be a problem for the opponents playing in elevation no matter what. So that right now is my number 1, unless crazy-ass news comes out before that. But Philly, they should beat Dallas, but we're talking about division rival, and we're talking about new coach for Dallas. You don't know how these guys are going to play with a new head coach, and Philly coming off a Super Bowl hangover week 1. Who knows, man? But Grandissimo, I would not do that. These guys were talking Grandissimo taking Philly, and I was like, you guys are out of pocket. You're crazy. So when we do this little meeting in person, I'm going to be vocal. They might not like me, but like I said, I'm going to have a lot of time invested, a lot of data, and a lot of stuff backing up my picks. And the main dude that's going to do it is either going to listen, roll with me, he's going to be on board, or he's going to have a totally different view, but I'm going to let him know how I feel. And the other guys that want to give up their input, if they're not looking at everybody's schedule ahead of time, then they're doing it all wrong.
Good stuff, man. If I recall, your entry, Love My Baxter, is named after your dog. Is that Baxter back there in the background?
Oh, yeah, that's my baby right there, man. Hold on. He just went to grooming today. Yeah, he went to grooming today, so he's mad at me, man. He doesn't like grooming. Right, puppy? Baxter. There you go. You ready for Circa Survivor? Tilt your head. You ready? Yeah, that's my baby, man. I got wife and kids, but I'm taking Baxter over them anytime, man. Baxter's a lot cheaper, and unconditional love, man.
I love it. You mentioned like in Denver, week 1. I think you raised a lot of good points about the spot. Rookie quarterback on the road in altitude against what might be the best defense in the NFL, arguably, right? Does the fact that there's going to likely be a very large percentage on Denver give you second thought? Does that tempt you at all? Like, if I told you, I'm gonna exaggerate a little bit. If I told you there was 60% of people on Denver week 1, which I think is very high, but if that was the case, still all of them on Denver, that doesn't change what you want to do?
Week 1, don't need a zigzag. If anybody knows about zigzag approach, everybody's on this team, let's go to opposite. Week 1, there's no reason to, man. We're just starting this contest. We're just getting a party started. So there's no reason to even think like that. Some weeks, you will have to be on the majority. No doubt about it, man. If you're trying to say you don't want to be on the number 1 team every week, then you're going to eventually, most likely, get picked off. Some weeks, as it gets thinner with the bye weeks, you might have to be on that one team that's favored by a lot. That's no doubt is the team. If you go, oh, man, I don't want to be on that team because everybody's on it. Let me go to this other team, and that team loses. Man, it's going to be a long off season for you.
Good point. And I've been on a number of podcasts and shows the last week or so, and I keep bringing up this point on Denver. If you lose with Denver, it's something where I think you're okay sleeping at night. And you say, you know what? Obviously, Cam Ward is the next big thing. He's a once-in-a-generation player, and he took me out in a really tough situation. Whereas if you go down with the Bengals week 1, I don't think you're sleeping very well at night because you're saying, what the hell? They did it again. I fell for it again. I knew the Bengals' history. I knew that Zach Taylor starts slow. I know Joe Burrow struggled in the first game of the season, and I did it again. And so I think that is something. It was mentioned in the Circa Survivor documentary about, that being advice, and it stuck with me, and I think it's a really good point. We have someone speaking up here, Steven. He says, we are a team. I don't know what he's talking about. Is this your boy? Is he saying you?
That's my boy, man. That's that's going to be the shot caller of, I can't say the name unless Steven wants to text back and say, I can give the name team. That name team is part of a team, but I don't want to give the full disclosures unless he's going to give me the A, but he's the shot caller, man. He put up the majority of the money and he has the final say so, man. So if Steven wants to go ahead and tweet it out or want me to do it, it's all good.
Good stuff. After your title run in Circa Survivor, what's the farthest that you got in the Survivor pool after that?
A few years ago, I messed up. I took Miami against the Raiders the week before Thanksgiving, and I got stuck taking Green Bay against Detroit. I took Detroit against Green Bay, and Green Bay beat Detroit. And I didn't save Miami, and Miami whooped ass. I think they played the Jets that year. I think they played the Jets on Thanksgiving or the day after. But I lost. I took Detroit at home against Green Bay. I think the first play of the game, Green Bay threw a bomb to Watson. I don't know if you remember. And then Goff couldn't get going. It was like they were going back and forth in the beginning, but Green Bay outlasted them. So I went all the way to Thanksgiving. Well. Yeah,
we were on opposite sides of that because I was at the book watching that game, and I think I must have had Miami because I was obviously rooting for those guys to be knocked out. So unfortunately, I was rooting against you that week, but I remember that game well, and not a lot of people saw that one coming. Man, that was a big slap in the face for sure. And
those division games, buddy. You know those division games.
Yeah. In fact, did you know this, Baxter? Did you know that Survivor Atlas will now allow you to click on an entry? Like I can go to LoveMyBaxter. I can click on your name and it will tell me your history of how often you've selected a division team, how often you've selected a home team or an away team. How cool is that, man?
That's cool, man. That dude's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Making that website, that app and good shit on there, man. I like that guy. And everybody can just, as you're taking a shit on the toilet, you can just hop on your phone and you can just look at all that data and yeah, man, it's all good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I mean, imagine that scenario. Let's say there's 8 people left in Survivor, and you're looking at how many teams are available, and you're like, oh, this guy's got the Cowboys available, the Dolphins available. That you can click on their name and be like, wow, this guy's never selected an away team. He's probably more likely to take a home team in this scenario. So it's just cool that we have this sort of data at our fingertips. So kudos to Survivor Atlas for that. Good stuff. One of the other things that I want to talk to you about is it's crazy. And I was just talking to a former winner the other day. It's crazy how in such a short period of time, this Circa Survivor landscape has changed, right? Like the Survivor Sweat Marketplace didn't exist when you won, right? This whole idea of the blue jackets that everybody's wearing now wasn't a thing. It was, I'd imagine, a lot harder to chop back then just to get in touch with someone else because the community on Twitter wasn't quite as engaged, right? So talk to me about the difference in Circa Survivor from the year you won it. So was there a holiday week, 2020? I joined 2021, so I don't know. No holiday week either, yeah. So tons of differences. Talk to me about the changes and the growth that you've seen in Circa since you won.
Well, just like you're doing a podcast all about it. So there's other people out there that are doing podcasts about it. I didn't know nothing about Survivor, the contest, until one of my buddies told me about it. I'm like, man, I never heard of that. So I decided to hop in it the first year and I won it. But yeah, there's so much out there now. And look how it's grown. Like shit, from the first year to a little over 1,000 to this year, probably over 20,000. Kind of sucks that 20,000 people are in this contest. And I don't think there's ever going to be a way where one person wins this contest unless Jeffrey and those guys at Circa do another twist. I don't know what they want to do if you have to pick 2 teams in 1 week. If, they got to come up with something if they really want to eliminate more people in this contest because it's just going to grow. Just imagine if you didn't need a proxy and you could just sign up from your house on the state. That 20,000 people are going way over If you never have to go to Vegas, you never have to use a proxy, this thing is going way over. So who knows in the future if you don't need to come to Vegas. But like you said, it's so cool now that on Twitter, and I don't know about any social platforms. I'm only on Twitter. I'm not on nothing else. I'm ex-law enforcement, so I'm not on nothing else, Facebook and all that shit, just Twitter, because I like Twitter wars and talking shit. But you definitely can network with other people like yourself and Tony, and there's a bunch of other dudes that win this contest that are real cool, and they're willing to give up their phone number and chat on the phone and network with you and buy shares and tell you how to hedge as the contest goes further. So yeah, man, this thing is really cool, man. And I thank those guys at Circa, man. I wish I would have won this contest a few years ago. Instead of winning $160,000 and buying a brand new Corvette, I'd rather buy a house than a Corvette. But we'll see this year, buddy.
Absolutely, man. We'll certainly be rooting for you. I know you said you're ex-law enforcement. I know you said you had a story for me involving Lawrence Phillips, was it?
Yeah, Lawrence Phillips was locked up at my prison, Lancaster State Prison in California. I'm a diehard Niner fan, as you can see. And Phillips was on the Niners when Steve Young was the quarterback. So long story short, Lawrence Phillips was locked up in a part of the prison called ADSEG. ADSEG is a part where these guys are handcuffed. They can never come out of their cell, only for a shower, and only go to the yard for a few hours a day, a few hours a week. And anytime they're escorted out of their cell, they're escorted handcuffed. And they're in walk-alone cages in the back when they work out. So he got in some fights on a different part of the yard. So my boys call me up one day, and they tell me that Phillips is going into a certain cell. And I said, what Phillips? And they go, the football player. And I go, all right, cool. So they're walking him. He's shackled. And it's a long rotunda to get into the actual building of my prison where all the cell doors are at and all the windows. So we end up facing him against the wall in the rotunda just in case he acts up and we got to handle business. I knew he wasn't going to act up with us. Only things he's act up with other inmates. He wasn't a gang member. He wasn't part of the prison politics. So anytime that we put an inmate in his cell, eventually he got in a fight with that inmate. So now we made him single cell in my prison. He never had a cellmate in my prison, in my building. So my boys walk in. He's shackled from head to toe. They give me his ID. They give me his paperwork. He's facing the wall. They handcuff his legs. They handcuff his arms. They make him turn around. I told my boys, I'm good. I got him. So I look at Phillips, and I have his ID, and I'm like, man, you look familiar. You're the one that cost my boy Steve Young a concussion? Were you in the backfield? You missed the block? And he's like, oh, man, don't tell me you're a Niner fan. And he goes, let me tell you what happened. I go, you got plenty of time to talk to me, bro. Go lock it up, man. We'll talk. Long story short, me and that dude talked about ball all the time. And my son lived in Nebraska, in Lincoln. I went to a few of the games. So I know everything about Omaha, Nebraska, and Lincoln. And I used to name drop certain things. And this dude's like, how do you know so much? And I used to tell him I used to gamble. And this dude was like crazy memorized, like about how much knowledge I knew about ball. And I asked him a lot of questions about ball and Niners and Rams and everything. Long story short, I came back off my days off. He got transferred to a different prison. Oh. They didn't make him single cell in the other prison, and he strangled his cellmate. Crazy story is his cellmate that he strangled was cousins with R.J. Sauer. You remember R.J. Sauer?
Yeah, I remember the name. Yeah.
R.J. Sauer was a wide receiver from USC, and he played in the pros with Jacksonville. So it's crazy how they sold up another guy related to another football player. Long story short, he went to court after he strangled his cellmate. They wanted to give him the death penalty. And I don't know if you know this, Lawrence Phillips eventually hung himself. He killed himself in prison.
Wow.
This dude had so much talent. If anybody watched him in college, this dude was like a man versus boys. And we would be on lockdown at Lancaster, and I would let him out, and I would let him go work out. And this dude, I forgot that he would be out there working out. And this dude would be out there 3 hours, man, working out, doing sprints, doing pull-ups, and he looked like he could still play ball.
Damn, no shit. So what
Dick
was
Vermeil used to come to the prison. Dick Vermeil used to come to the prison. Tom Osborne used to come to the prison. Yeah, man, it's a sad situation.
All right, Dog Joe Fund, another very sharp guy, is that looks like he's fishing for information here. He wants your. I've heard a lot of people. By the way, I've heard a lot of people whispering about this game, like dozens of people talking about this game. And before you give an answer, I will say this. I think if you can get through week 1 with Indy or Miami, regardless of what side of this debate you're on, I think it sets up nicely for the rest of the way because there's not a lot of great options to use either of those teams going forward. And I personally don't think either of those teams is going to have a winning record at the end of the season. So I see the intrigue in this game, and I understand why people have questions about this game. What are your thoughts?
Dog Joe, you're part of the team too, man. We haven't met yet, but we will. That game, no offense, Baxter, would you pick that team? He shook his head, man. We're not on that team. We're not on that game. No, that's a tough one, man. Any of these coin flip games, I'm not doing it, man. Those are coin flips. You don't know what you're getting with those teams, and basically it's like a hunch why you like that team. I want to hear the breakdown of why you like that team, and I want to hear the check boxes and the negatives about when you're picking a team. I named you the Denver. I didn't even name you all of it. I just named you a little bit of it, and it just checks out. These other teams, they don't check out. Cincinnati, like you said, man, in the beginning of the season, the last few years, they're a no-go, man. Preseason, they already look like shit. Their old line looks like shit. T. Higgins just got hurt. His ankle's messed up. No, man, I'm not on that. And then this game, same thing, man. I'm not on it. So if anything changes within a week and a half, 2 weeks that we got left, then it's going to be – then I would listen. But other than that, after looking at all their games and the matchups right now, that Denver game is the game. Denver. I don't care if 100% of people are on it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. If you had to choose right now, Washington or Arizona, week 1, who would you pick?
Washington would be my 1B. Arizona's on the road. That's the scary part. You don't know what you're getting with Arizona. Murray, I'm not really sold on him. Maybe he should have played baseball. Love the tight end. Love Connor. I think Harrison's second year is going to be a beast. I think they're going to get better on defense, but they're still on the road. New Orleans, that's like a high school team right now, but it is week 1. They are at home. All of a sudden, they could just play over their heads. They're going into the season 0-0, so that you don't have that negative thing in their locker room right now saying we suck, we're going to pack it in, we have no chance for the playoffs. Everybody is 0-0, and they all think that they're going to win to a certain point. Even the fucking sorry teams, they're professionals. You never know these bad teams, they win 1 or 2 games that they're not supposed to, and their confidence and everything else just, you never know, man. And yeah. And Washington, they're supposed to be better than they were, but maybe Daniels takes a step back. Last year, he was a beast as a rookie. What happened to Stroud last year? Stroud took a step back. So these second-year quarterbacks, you never know, man.
Yeah, I like your point about the Saints. We think they're bad, but are we sure they're bad? At this point last year, do you remember the 2 teams that everybody was saying you're going to want to beat up on all season long? They were the Saints of last year. It was the Patriots, who won week 1, and it was the Broncos, who had a hell of a season. It seems like ancient history now, but people were going into the season saying the Broncos were one of the 3 worst teams in the NFL. And we think the Saints are bad. Do we know they're bad at home? It's something to think about. And here's another one, just to put this on your brain, Baxter. I don't know if you happen to see the article that I wrote for Survivor Atlas, but going back to 2020, which is when Circa Survivor started, and also when the reduced preseason games started, because we had the 2020 COVID year with no preseason. Then 2021, they went from 4 to 3. So since 2020, we've had reduced preseason games. Since then, since that point, favorites in week 1 of 5 points or more are 500. Straight up. These big favorites are a fucking coin flip on week 1 since 2020.
Yeah, man, you don't know what you're getting. Like, what are you using? Are you using preseason as data? No. They played 1 series. They played 1 down, and some teams don't even play no players, like the Rams. Rams don't play nobody. Are you going off of last year? Last year is last year. That has nothing to do with this year. Right. Different coaches, different schemes, different coordinators. So doing these other contests, trying to pick 5 games. Well, good luck, man. I'm going to have a tough time picking 5 games with the spread. But like I said, if you're trying to tell me 1 game, no spread, I like Denver, man. I like that elevation, knowing that these dudes are not in game shape. Yeah, they've been practicing, but practicing and playing in a real game is different. Practicing basketball and then running full court for 60 minutes is a different kind of game shape. It's different, man. So I think as that game goes on, Denver, Tennessee, Denver's going to wear them down. And if Denver gets the lead, then it really looks good because Tennessee's not going to be able to come back. Now, somehow, some way, we can't control referees. We can't control turnovers. That's just the luck of the luck. So for Tennessee to win, that kind of shit has to happen, and you can't predict that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good point. If I tell you there's a big weather issue, Denver's an open stadium, right? Yeah, they're outdoors. If there's a big weather issue, all of a sudden there's a big storm rolling in, shitload of rain on Denver, you still putting all 5 on them?
Yeah, because that's their home stadium, and they're used to playing in weather elements mile high. Usually snow, not rain, but
right.
I would still roll with them. And don't get me wrong, I like Cam Ward. He's going to be a stud, but it's his first game as a pro, man. Like, come on, bro. You ain't Michael Vick yet. You ain't these other dudes that are coming. So, yeah.
What is your prediction? I want to compare your thoughts on taking Denver against the Titans and provide some context with how you feel about the Titans. Because I know a lot of people who are sharp people who are very high on the Titans this year and actually think they could be a playoff team. So what's your prediction on their record this year?
Probably maybe a little under 500.
Okay.
They do got some offensive weapons. They got rid of some defensive guys that were their main dudes. It's kind of like a rebuild. So, they got Spears. They got what's the name from Dallas? What's the running back? Pollard.
Yep.
They got Ridley. But like I said, man, it's a new quarterback. Yep. Quarterbacks are everything. It's a point guard in the NBA basketball. It's a center in the NBA, the main dude of the main team. If that guy ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing, then everybody else is going to falter and everybody's going to take a hit. So that dude's got to play over his head. I don't remember their schedule exactly. I don't got it in front of me, but I know they got some easy W's on their schedule. Home court wise, we're gonna maybe average home court playing in Tennessee. It's not really known to be that home court like a Lambeau or a Arrowhead or a Philly. So, but it's just a team to watch out for. I don't think I would ever take them in Survivor, like as the year goes on, unless they really play out of their mind. But those kind of teams, I'm not trying to take those kind of teams, man. I know it's 20 weeks and you got to pick 20 teams. So you're going to have to take some average teams and they might be a little below average. So I'm looking to not take them right now unless something else comes up and they play against a team that really sucks and that's a team that's packing it in, then we'll do that. I'll do that. But other than that, it's just a team to watch out for. As I'm in these other contests, I'm watching every game. I'm rewatching every game. I rewatch every game. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke weed. So my memory is really good. I don't get interrupted as I'm watching the games. So I'm on point, man. And I got a crazy memory about everything. We could talk about Niners games right now and you'd be like, damn, you do know your shit. So it's not being cocky.
Both grew up Niner fans, by the way, for those who didn't know. So that's good stuff. Hey, when I asked you about Washington, you talked about Jaden Daniels maybe having that second-year slump. How come you don't have that same concern about Bo Nix, or at least in the first week?
Because they're playing against a weak team. Like I said, Tennessee's going to be weaker. Second year. Only problem with Denver is one problem with Denver. Besides Sutton, the receivers are kind of weak. And they did pick up Evan Ingram. That's going to be a huge thing for a young tight end to lean on. Love Ingram. He's like a wide receiver. But other than that, those other receivers, man, they're kind of iffy, man. Franklin, you don't know what you're getting, man. So other than that, but Payne's a good coach, man. So Payne's gonna put that dude in good situations and not make him do too much, man.
Yeah, very good point. All right, my last question for you, brother, before we go here. Give people 2 pieces of just general, not doesn't have to be Circa Survivor advice, just Survivor pool NFL Survivor pool advice. What are those pieces of advice from you?
To me is planning out I do a paper because I'm old school and I'm older. I write down 5 games a week, every week on a piece of paper. I highlight them. I got the point spread, home team, away team. And as that week approaches, and like prior weeks, I look at my piece of paper and I look at the spread that's current, what the spread was, why did the spread change, and any upcoming games that I had of that same team on the schedule down the line. If they are in better situations, then I might fade them that week. For instance, if I got Denver, I'm going to use Denver week 1. If I got Washington week 4 at home, playing against a sorry team favored by 10, but now all of a sudden they're favored by 14 week 9. I look at week 9 and I don't see that many teams that I like that week. I might hold out on Washington and wait and use them week 9 now. So now I might bump them to week 9. So I'm constantly looking at the schedule of that week. I'm constantly looking at the schedule for that year remaining, and I'm always shuffling teams and having my mind open. Can't have your mind made up in this contest. As you go, things are going to happen with all the injuries. So you definitely gotta and I'm not loyal to no teams, and I'm not loyal to nobody. Even these podcasts I listen to, these are just ideas that you guys thrown out, and maybe I didn't come up with that idea. Now I'm listening to Tony, I'm like, fuck, I like that idea. Let me write that down that Tony mentioned, and then I just reevaluate. But you got to reevaluate and think about all this shit, because if you make one bad decision, bro, this is millions of dollars.
Yep.
I don't work. I'm retired. I don't work no more. I'm retired. But some of you guys that do work and you can win this contest, you might never work again. So you really got to get dialed in and stay in the moment. Don't let nobody change your mind. A lot of people think they know everything. I was listening to a dude in some chat a few days ago. He never played before, and his takes were so stupid. I didn't comment. I was so urged to start commenting, but I knew it was going to be like an argument for an hour, and I didn't have an hour to just argue with somebody that day, or I would have. But
and I wonder too, I lied. I said I didn't have other questions for you, but I do. I just thought of a couple more. But I wonder too, sometimes in those chats, how often is it people trying to get people on other things? They're saying something that they don't even believe because they want to push, the narrative. Argument they hope that other people attach to, so that they can kind of be on an island and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like arguing with robots on the internet. Sometimes you gotta be careful how much energy you invest in those sort of things, for sure.
Definitely.
But I got a couple more questions for you. Before we get to those, though, I got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Survivor Sweat. They are my proxy. They have been my proxy for the last couple of years. If you are in Circa Survivor, you're planning to sign up for Circa Survivor, and you have not signed up yet, highly encourage you to call these guys, schedule an appointment. One of my favorite things about Survivor Sweat is that you can change your pick in their database up until the Circa Survivor deadline. In other words, early in the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think I know who I want, but I might actually want to change that pick, but I don't want to risk forgetting to put it in. So I might put a team in as a little placeholder Tuesday or Wednesday, and then right up until the Circa deadline, they allow you to change it. So big fan of Survivor Sweat. And then a shout out as well to Race Oracle, raceoracle.com. They use AI to help you pick horses if you like to bet on the ponies. Here's a little screenshot from Race Oracle just to give you an example. They use AI, tell you what they believe the percentage likelihood is that a horse is going to win. For instance, in this example, Agent Ice, 20.8%. They give betting recommendations based on your bankroll, based on Kelly criterion and your bankroll. So if you have a bigger bankroll, that optimal Kelly number in the middle of the screen is going to be a lot higher. So please do check out raceoracle.com, survivorsweat.com. They have been great to us on this show. We're big fans of them. But my other question that I had for you, Baxter, we talked about the Saints might be this team that's bad. It might be this team that's good. If you had to pick right now the team that's going to have the worst record in the NFL, what team do you think that's going to be when it's all said and done?
Well, there's going to be 3 of them. Cleveland, Saints, maybe Jets. Those are the 3 that maybe in this contest you start picking on those 3. Even it's just say the matchup against one of those teams is -6. But hey, man, those teams suck. So that's a team to maybe pick on this contest. But Cleveland, yeah, they got defense. They got Miles.
They got a good coach.
Ward.
I do like their coach. I think Cleveland's coach is good. They've got a good defensive line. I would say this, and I said this on a show earlier this week. It's not a bad idea to pick on Cleveland because I agree with you. They don't have a lot of talent. They probably will be up there in terms of the number of losses at the end of the season. But they do have a very good defensive line, not just Myles Garrett. They have a good defensive line. So I worry about them going up against another team that's like good but doesn't have a good offensive line. I think there are matchups that Cleveland can upset some teams. Cleveland can have some big upsets this year, even though they're not going to be a winning team. So I'd be careful consistently fading Cleveland. Pick your spots with them. That's just my advice.
Oh, yeah. And they got a good corner, Ward.
Yep. Yeah. So like I'm trying to think of a team that fits this profile, but a team that relies very heavily on its number one receiver, but doesn't have a very good number two receiver and has an average or mediocre offensive line. Cleveland could give a team like that fits.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In Survivor, it's not just about what team is better than another team. The matchups, and you brought up something earlier about, how long has this coach been with a team and the continuity and stuff like that early in the year. All these little things are important and they matter.
But you start off with what you just said. Offensive line versus defensive line. As you remember last year in the Super Bowl, Eagles D-line was crazy against Mahomes. Anytime Mahomes said hike, those guys were in his face. No matter what kind of quarterback you are, Brady, Montana, Peyton Manning, if you don't have an O-line, you are going to be average or below average. So it all starts in the trenches. If you want to start a franchise, you want to start on the offensive line. That's why Dallas was so good for all those years. And I'd like to have this debate with you because I'm a sports guy. I'm going to hit you with a debate. If you put Barry Sanders on the Dallas Cowboys instead of Emmitt Smith, who has better numbers?
Barry.
You put Emmitt Smith on that Detroit Lions team, we might not even be talking about Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
So the O-line is everything. And like you said, when I do my DFS, DraftKings, when I'm doing my 5 games a week, it's funny you said that. That's the first thing I start off. Offensive line rankings, defensive line rankings, and then the injuries. If they got a left tackle that's weak, and some of these teams already lost a left tackle. We got Tampa Bay left tackle. We got Chargers left tackle already gone.
Yep. Absolutely. Who do you like for offensive line rankings? There's Mike Clay. There's FTN. There's PFF. Whose offensive line rankings do you tend to trust the most? Or is there one that I don't use that you use?
No, it's Clay, and then it's the dude from ETR. Shit, go. What's the guy from ETR?
Man, you tripped me out. You said the dude from ETR, and you opened that door. I thought he was back there hanging out with you. I thought you were bringing out on the show.
You know what ETR is, right?
No. Break it down for me.
Evan Silva.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a guy that does the offensive line rankings. I forgot. Damn.
Okay.
Good dude, man. Another knowledgeable guy. But it's just, man, I love doing the process. Don't get me wrong. I love the money. I love winning. But I love the process, man. The process is everything, man. If you put all this time in and all these hours and you're sitting there on a Sunday and everything that you looked at during the week, you're watching it unfold.
Nothing better.
Bro, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, 100%. And for me personally, I said this the other day, week 1 Sunday is my favorite day of the year. It's better than Christmas. It's better than my birthday. It's better than any holiday. It's better than the Super Bowl. Week 1 Sunday is my favorite absolute day of the year. We got another comment here. Rosalie wants to invite Baxter to Vegas for a swim day. I don't know. Do you know this person? Brian Strait?
Oh, yeah. He's part of the team, man. That's Brian. I never met him yet. That's Brian. Never met him yet. We're going to meet when I sign up in Vegas. We'll probably have a drink. I don't drink, but I'll have a soda. I'll have some water, and we'll have some food. Good dude. We already talked on the phone a bunch of times. Real knowledgeable. Lives in Vegas, man. Good dude.
Hey, while your crew is here, your Circa Survivor team, I'm talking about Brian. I'm talking about Steven. I'm talking about Dog. You guys would do me a favor and hit that like button. Come back, subscribe. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at the LMS Podcast on Twitter. This community is growing quick, man. I created our Twitter page like a month and a half ago. We got like 333 followers on Twitter already. Had a great weekend at Radio Row over at Circa. Like, people are coming up to our table saying, "Oh, I love your guys' show," stuff like that. So this community is growing quick, and it's great to have other people to talk to. It's great to have you guys commenting during the live shows. So again, I don't want to beg, but please do subscribe on Spotify as well. Feel free to follow, drop a comment on Spotify. This episode that you're watching now will be live on Spotify with the video in about 24 hours. So please check that out as well, guys. Baxter, any other closing thoughts before we say goodbye here?
Do you bet the horses, or did you ever bet the horses?
No, man, I've never been a big horse better since Race Oracle started sponsoring the show, though. Like, I wanted to check the app out and make sure that I wasn't recommending a bad product. So I went in there and I'm like, "Ooh, I see the appeal. This is fun," So I've been kind of horse curious since I learned about Race Oracle, but historically I haven't bet the horses. No.
Got it. Yeah, I used to bet a lot at Santa Anita, Hollywood Park, man. Yeah, man.
Nice.
Fun times back in the 80s, man. My dad used to drag me to the racetrack, and I used to bet the horses, so I'm real familiar, but I don't dabble in it no more. Last minute words. Thanks for having me. Anytime you need a fill-in, anytime you want my opinion, hit me up. I'm retired. Other than that, good luck to everybody. I hope everybody comes in second. I want to win this. I'm Jewish. I'm greedy. I want all the money. What else? Go Niners. I don't think we're going all the way to the Super Bowl. We got a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Offensive receiver rise. Tony, can you run a 40? Can you catch the ball? We need some receivers, man.
You're not kidding, man. And they needed running backs before they got Brian Robinson yesterday. That was a great signing.
Good pickup. I like the rookie. from last year, Gerardo, but I guess they're not fun on him. But
he had three fumbles the other day in the same practice.
Yeah,
so
that's
why. And then they signed. And they go and get Brian Robinson right after that. Interesting.
Yeah, of course.
Here's my take on the Niners, and it does have a little bit with survivor pools too. I think the Niners, if they stay healthy, are an absolute playoff team, no doubt about it, in a wide open NFC. I think they are the thinnest roster that they have had since Kyle Shanahan took over in year one. Like, if Trent Williams goes down, I don't know if you saw the show or not, but we had Grant Cohn on, 49ers beat writer, on yesterday. Yep. And he talked about that, about how bad Purdy has been when Trent Williams is out. And that's with an adequate swing tackle like Jalen Moore, who's now with the Chiefs. They signed him to a big contract. You don't have a Jalen Moore anymore backing up Trent Williams. And it's not just the offensive line. Receiver room right now especially is thin. Linebackers, dude, if they lose one of their linebackers, doesn't look good. I worry about this team if there are injuries. And then I would say, hey, is that an argument to use the Niners early in the season, knowing that historically they've been very snake bitten by injuries? Warren Sharp just did a tweet. Like, the last 5 or 6 years, Niners have been like top 10, top 5 in injuries every single freaking year. So if this team's going to get banged up and potentially lose a Kittle, lose a Trent Williams, and trust me, there's not depth behind those guys, maybe that's an argument to use the Niners sooner before the injuries start to accumulate, and someone else down the road has to use the Niners when they don't have some of their stars. Have you given much thought to that theory?
But here, I'm gonna hit you vice versa. What happens when Brandon Ayuk comes back? What happens if Jennings is 100%?
Yep.
So it could go both ways, man. What happens if the Niners want to do some more trades? What happens, but I think it's the Rams division if Stafford's healthy. If Stafford's healthy, this is the Rams division. And I hate to say that, but it is what it is. My problem is, I don't know how you feel about this. We never talked. I don't like Shanahan as a head coach. I like Shanahan as a coordinator. There's too many games. Yeah, there's too many games that I've watched where he doesn't make good decisions when the game is tight or they're losing in the fourth quarter. Anybody can have a winning record when you have the best team. I mean, the best defense. They've had the best defense for years. They have the best offensive weapons for years. Yeah, man, when they're up 14-0, yeah, it's easy to be the greatest coach ever. Do you know what his career? I don't know if you want to Google this or you know it. What's his career winning percentage with the Niners?
I bet it's a little above 500. I bet it's not that great.
A little. A little. Like, you would think that a little? No, it's way over. No, man. I don't like him as a head coach.
Here's the thing with Shanahan, man. You hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of people that are watching this show who aren't Niner fans and don't watch every single Niners game think you are just referring to that Super Bowl loss where he was the offensive coordinator and made some poor decisions as an offensive coordinator, not running the ball more. They think you might be referring to some Super Bowl and playoff game bad decisions when they had the lead, like blowing 2 leads to the Chiefs. It is so much deeper than that. And you know that as a Niner fan. I've seen him make terrible decisions by not calling timeouts. I've seen him make terrible decisions calling timeouts when he should have not called timeouts. Like, it's not just a play calling in the fourth quarter decision. Kyle gets a little iffy when the pressure's on. And I think people are starting to notice this and talk about it. And that might be compounding the problem. Like, I was at that Super Bowl, the Niners-Chiefs most recent Super Bowl in Vegas. I'm not sure he knew the Super Bowl rules in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Maybe he did. He said he did. I honestly think there's a chance that Andy Reid like kind of outsmarted him on that one, and Kyle didn't know the rules. I really do. Yep. I really and I don't mean Andy Reid outsmarted him because there wasn't a decision like that. What I mean is Andy Reid knew the rules, was prepared for it, had a play ready in case he had to go for 2 because he got the ball first. I don't think Kyle was prepared in that way. And I'm not certain Kyle knew the rules. Like 80-20. I think he probably knew the overtime rules. I'm not 100% sure though.
Yeah, I believe it. And it's funny, like you said, how many times have you watched a game where there's 40 seconds left, the Niners got the ball, it's the second quarter, they're at their own 45, and they don't try to get in field goal range.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're afraid, and you got timeouts.
Yeah.
You're afraid with Kittle? Man, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, McCaffrey. Like, this is like the old school Niners with Bill Walsh. You got fucking Roger Craig, Rathman, John Taylor, Rice, Brent Jones. Like, pick your poison. You got pick your poison. Like, you got matchups galore, and you can't try to get in field goal range? Come on, man.
Yep.
They got lucky against Detroit in the playoffs because Detroit's coach decided to go for it on 4th down instead of kicking field goal. So they lucked out there. Green Bay had them in the playoffs. Niners choked against the Rams in the championship game when they were up, and the Rams won the Super Bowl that year. Niners had them.
I don't put that on Kyle, honestly. I thought he actually played that game well. It was, what's his name, the defensive back that dropped the ball.
Tart, interception, Tart.
Yeah,
but
Tart.
In the fourth quarter, Niners were up, and Jimmy G threw a bad pick, and it was just a play call. And like, when the game's close, man, that butthole, man, it gets tight. It gets tight. It's like it's like walking in prison for the first time. You're puckering up. Like, that dude's been on that football field for a long time, watching his dad. He's been coaching for a long time. Bro, man, and the players see that? That's not good, man.
Yeah. I do wonder if that's
PTSD, bro.
I wonder if that's in the back of some of their minds. Fourth quarter, close game, big game, because he does okay in the regular season, but I do lose a lot of confidence in him when it's a big game like the Super Bowl.
I'm gonna hit you with this, Tony. Yeah. This is a tough debate, my Niner fans.
All right,
who's better, Patrick Willis, Fred Warner?
Warner's better in coverage.
All around linebacker. That's a good debate, right?
It's a very good debate.
Because they're both one's in the Hall of Fame already.
Yeah. I think Warner's going to play longer than Willis did. I think Warner's better in coverage. But if you give me one of them in their prime for one game that I need to win, I might go Willis. It's a tough debate, though. It's tough.
Willis was a beast, man. I wish he didn't retire, but
yeah. And different eras. Like, you got to take that into account too. People
good debate though, huh?
Very good debate. Yeah, people are throwing the ball a lot more now. So you put Willis out there now, he's not going to struggle, but Warner, you got to give Warner some points there because
Warner's faster, more athletic.
Yeah.
Yep,
for sure. But hey, great conversation. Love the Lawrence Phillips story. Great to pick your brain a little bit about week 1. Always great to talk to a Circa Survivor champion. They can never take that away from you. You can lose, and this won't happen because you're sharp, but you can lose in week 1, Circa Survivor, for the next 10 years, and you will always be a Circa Survivor champion. You'll always have our respect. So congratulations on that victory. We will talk soon, my friend. No doubt we'll have you back on the show, brother.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care, brother. Take care.
You too, buddy. Yep.